Hey everyone, thanks for tuning back into the Group 2 YouTube channel, and today we're going to introduce to you the BG suite of products.
So the first service we're going to go after here is the air induction service, which uses a can of BG's air intake valve and combustion chamber cleaner, and then their special spraying tool. And this car is a little special because it's got the individual throttle bodies, so it takes a little bit longer, but on normal cars, you just hook this thing up with shop air, sprays in, cleans down all your throttle bodies, your valves, keeps things nice and clean, and you'll see the difference. So the reason we recommend this service is to clean out all the carbon that's built up in your intake system. Over time of driving, even though you have an air filter, stuff gets in there, your oil system, blow by, it all builds up over time, hurts your fuel economy, your power. This service cleans it right out and restores it back to almost factory new. So the other option to doing this service is take all this apart and clean it by hand, which is very labor intensive. And then after the completion of the induction service, the last step is to add a can of 44K to the gas tank and then fill the tank up with premium gas. The 44K cleans out your fuel system, fuel rail, injectors, and then inside the combustion chamber. 44K is designed for gasoline engines only. They make a diesel product, but please do not put this in your diesel cars or trucks. Another benefit of the induction service we ran was it cleans out the catalytic converter and kind of cleans off the O2 sensors, which sometimes can clear up the P0420 code, which is the most common for an inefficient catalytic converter. Doesn't always fix it, but sometimes it can clean off the sensors and fix it. So another service, part of the BG suite of products we offer here, is the coolant system cleaning, which requires a special tool and the BG chemicals, of course. You start by adding the cleaner to the system, getting the system hot, letting it work and descale the system. Over time, the engine's coolant system builds up calcium deposits, which in a giant coolant hose isn't a problem, but all the small coolant passages, it starts to restrict the flow. So with this machine and the cleaner, we help descale all that out of the system. This is the BG coolant transfusion system. It allows us to tee into the coolant system and reverse flow new coolant into it to pick up all that calcium scaling. So as I mentioned before about the calcium deposits that build up in the coolant system, as your coolant flows around in the engine in one direction, those deposits get laid down kind of like fish scales. So with the coolant machine, we flush everything backwards to pick the scales up and bring it out of the system. And then after the service is complete, you top off your coolant with the universal super cool. It helps to deactivate the cleaner so you don't have cleaning agent in the system. So as your engine ages, so does the antifreeze and glycol content within that antifreeze. And as that reduces, your boiling point comes down and your freezing point comes up. So you could have block freezing in the winter or overheating in the summer. You flush into the new coolant, you reset that, and you're back to where you're supposed to be from the factory. So like many of the systems in the engine, the power steering system also needs cleaned out and the fluids changed. So first step to that process is you add the BG power steering cleaner and work the system back and forth to clean out all the gunk that's caught up in the O-rings and seals. We then flush out all the old fluid that has the cleaner in it and all the stuff suspended in it, refill it with new clean fluid, and add the power steering conditioner, which helps soften all the seals and reseal the system. This can solve minor leaks, quiet down angry motors, power steering pumps. Here at Group 2, we recommend doing a brake flush with every brake job, or at least every 3 years. The fluid can get dirty, And in Washington, we have a lot of moisture in the air almost all year round, and brake fluid absorbs that moisture and will begin to boil and you'll lose brake pressure. So a quick way to check your brake fluid is to use a brake fluid test strip. These test for copper corrosion in the fluid, which I can already tell this fluid doesn't look very good. As you can see, very discolored, very dirty, and the test strip's already starting to change color, which is a sign it's going to be bad. I prefer to replace the fluid at anything above 100, and this is clearly above that, so we're going to go ahead and do this brake flush. So to do a brake flush, we use this machine. It applies pressure to the top of the brake fluid reservoir, and then also sucks out the old fluid at each brake caliper.
And crank up the boost.
The next service that we offer of the BG Performance products line here at Group 2 is EPR. In other words, Engine Performance Restoration. Now that we've broken in the engine with break-in oil, we're going to be adding the EPR. What EPR does is break down all of the carbon deposits that are in the engine. In addition, it loosens up the piston rings and cleans them out in order to help improve compression. Now that we've added the EPR, we're going to get the engine oil up to temperature and then drain it with all of the bad contaminants.
Car up to temp and holding a rev of about 2,000 for the last 15 minutes, so it's now about time to drain the oil. So I'll get my assistant to kill the engine, and right as he kills it, we drain the oil.
So here at Group 2, we highly advise changing your transmission fluid, whether it's a manual or an automatic transmission. If it's an automatic, we do have a machine for that, but in this case, we have a manual transmission. It's just going to be a drain and fill with a little bit of cleaning in between. Now if we take a closer look here, on the back of the box, this yellow sticker, it does say that we have lifetime oil. Don't really believe that, because as soon as we drain this, you're going to see just how nasty that oil is. It's very important that we swap this out for some good fresh fluid. Now this fluid has been done before, that's why it's not completely dark, but we're changing it in any case since we're doing a full fluid service on this M3. So in addition to your regular maintenance, the BG suite of products is the perfect way to keep your car running for many more miles. With that said, please share the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the Group 2 YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the next video.